Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So it's about 1:30. It is August 4th, Monday, 83.6 degrees. That one says 82 degrees. And for our international friends, it's 25.7 degrees Celsius. Welcome to Monday. So when you have a hoard like I do, and you're kind of a cheap person, you try to do things when you could save the most money and so forth. So it just became time to get oil, and I just let's see, I just picked up 472 gallons, and the price was $328.9, and you can see 471.9. So I have two tanks downstairs. If anybody's curious, I can show them to you. So I have two 75-gallon tanks downstairs, so I could take 550 gallons of oil. Both tanks are full, and it took 472 gallons. I fill it once a year, hopefully when it's cheap, and $3.29 a gallon is about as cheap as it's been. So right now I'm full. So far this year, I've picked up a ton of pellets. Typically, oh, look at this, my batteries are charged. We don't see that often, so let's go happy with that. So typically I burn 2 tons of pellets and a little over 2 tons of pellets. Call it 2.5 tons of pellets and about 500 gallons of oil. So it cost me about $200 a month to heat this place, $2,400 a year. I mean, it is a big house. According to the tax rolls, it's 3,300 square feet, and they tax me like I'm 3,300 square feet. I really haven't sat down with the tape and measured it. They kind of measure the outside, and you know, length by width for the main house, and then length and width for the room over the garage. Then they multiply it by 2 because there's, for the main house, because there's a room above the main house. And then I'm not sure what they do with the sunroom on the back. I don't think that's considered part of the space because it's not. Well, actually it probably is part of the space. It's considered a 3-season room. It's not heated, so I'm not quite sure how they tax me. But what I do is I get a run clock on the furnace, and that's what the run clock says right now. I know it cost me $15.53 to fill it up. That's the price. That's how many gallons it took. So anyway, this is kind of my starting point. And then what I do is I just put little log entries in, so I know how much oil I have. And my tanks are separated. I have valves on the bottom of the tanks. I have a primary tank that fills from outside and services the furnace. All the furnace plumbing goes into one tank. The tanks are attached on the bottom, so when that one tank goes low, I just open up both valves on the bottom, and the tank that feeds the furnace fills then from the bottom, and I could go on heating the house. So typically I'm going through like 2.5 tons of pellets and about 500 gallons of oil. Some years it's a little less, you know, toward 450. Some years it's up as high as 5.25. So last year I guess was pretty typical. I thought I burned more oil than I actually did. I did burn more pellets, though. It seems like I went through a full 2.5 tons. The pellet game, My pellet stove, I have a Jamestown pellet stove. It likes Green Supreme pellets. They're made up in New Hampshire. It really likes those. I like the idea they're from the United States. So right now you can buy those at Tractor Supply, $5 a bag, and if you buy a ton, they knock off $10. So $2.39 a ton. There's 50 40-pound bags in a ton. So 5 times 5 is, $250. But they knock $10 off, so it comes up to $239.95 or something like that. I don't know, give or take a foot and a half. So there you are. I picked up 1 ton so far. I'd like to pick up a 2nd ton, but I don't have storage in the house for it. The house is full of pellets. The basement's full of pellets. I have a few left over from last year, plus what I added. I burn typically a bag of pellets a day, and I burn approximately 120, 125 days a year. I mean, that's about how long the heating system is. Typically, I'll fire the pellet stove sporadically before Thanksgiving. Normally I can get away with just running the I got one of those Amish heater things, so normally I could get away with kind of running that and opening up the back door to the sunroom, get quite a bit of solar heating in there. And then typically call it November 15th, the pellets, I actually call it November 1st. I start sporadically firing up the pellet stove. Typically, as we're starting to get into December, the pellet stove is lit continuously, so it's call it all of December, all of January, all of February, a little bit of November, typically almost all of March. Or part of March. Depends. Everything depends on the year. A lot of times if I don't light much in November, it seems like I burn further into March. If I'm using pellets in November, it seems like for some reason I end earlier in March. So it's kind of averages out. But call it about 125 bags, and if you divide that by your average month has 30 days in it, that's 4 months, which covers all of December, all of January, all of February, and all of March. So there you are. To allow the pellets to come into the house, I had to make pathways in, which is always interesting, because as I make pathways in, I always kind of discover new boxes of crap that I've bought over the years and kind of got lost downstairs, and now I'm kind of looking at them, trying to figure out what to do with it, and start sorting, and that obviously burns quite a lot of time. A couple of other things I need to do. I'm putting the PT Cruiser on the road, giving the Suzuki to my son, actually selling it to my son. So I need to put a set of brakes in the PT Cruiser. The brakes would have been fine if I would have used the car, but because I'm a moron and a hoarder, I didn't use the car and the brakes got rusty, and it won't pass inspection with the rotors are all rusty like that. And probably for good reason, because if the rotors are that rusty, should you have an emergency stop, you might just pluck the pads off, and then you're kind of screwed. So also, a lot of times when the rotors are rusty, the back of the pads get rusty, and then the pads pop off. So might as well just do it and get it done. So I ordered a set of pads and rotors and all that crap from eBay. The rotors I ordered were drilled. Not that I'm going to drive the car 100 miles per hour. It's only a little forced cylinder in there, but if you could get the better stuff for the price of the crappy stuff, you might as well run the better stuff. So I think that's it, right? Oh, the diesel tractor, the Kubota tractor. I charged the battery up overnight, according to my handy dandy computerized charger there. The green light was on, telling me the battery was fully charged. And what I did was I fired that thing. it fired right up, and it ran fine. I ran at full throttle up and down the driveway and half throttle and cut some grass with it and did all kinds of great stuff, and it seems to be happy now. So what I'm going to assume is that I was running it on a dead battery and or weak battery, so it had enough battery to run the power steering. Well, even the power steering wasn't working all that great, but it had enough battery to keep the clutches engaged, but it did not have enough battery to pump fuel, and that's why I got into trouble. Who knows, it might need a fuel filter, but as of now it seems to be running really, really fine. So I just as soon not break something that works. So even though it might be a good idea, a really good idea to change those fuel filters, I'm not going to mess with them until I kind of have to. Once again, I don't want to break something that works. You guys can see I have a bee's nest there that I have to mess with. Normally I like to hit them with a little flamethrower action. The fire and smoke make the bees take the honey, and when they take the honey and try to get to another nest, they have a tendency to be more worried about the honey than about stinging you. But you guys also noticed all that vinyl siding around there. I just as soon not set my garage ablaze or melt the hell out of that vinyl siding. So it'll probably be chemical warfare. I gotta, either come out after dark and give it a good spray, or wait until a chilly morning and give it a spray. Most mornings it's been in the 60s. So it's really not cold enough to, the second any daylight is out, they're kind of active. So that nest might be getting a little bigger before I whack it. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. I got to get some of these dumb little projects done around here, then I could go back to playing with my toys. Seems that I'm not the only one who's been busy with vacation and playing with toys and all this other silliness. There hasn't been a lot of videos put up. Finally, William Staton put one up. Love his video, so go watch him. He built himself a nice outbuilding, a big outbuilding, bigger than this place, to work on his stuff, which is cool. And, Marcel keeps putting stuff up. Just go out there, take a look around. They are coming up, but not the volume of usual. I guess everybody's got a life and everybody's busy. Folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde. Till then, remember, keep your tires down, your head up, and live every day of your life. Enjoy it. Bye now.